Hello.
Hey, girl.
Hey. Happy
Hello.
Monday.
Yes, happy Monday. Today really has been a really good Monday for me, and I'm very proud of myself because Mondays typically suck. We all know we hate Mondays,
Yeah, no, that's good.
but
That's really good.
today was a good one.
No, that's good. I'm glad to hear that.
Hello to
So,
all of our viewers, new and old.
yes, hello, welcome.
Welcome. I feel like I'm lagging, Stephen,
No,
but
you're good.
hey, we're gonna work it out.
You're good. You're good.
So welcome to Put It All on the Table, where queens talk about it. Today's show is going to be a little short, y'all. We're going to do 30 minutes, just so y'all know. It's a heads up. And today's topic is pretty simple, and we're talking about recognizing your worth. I can have my wine.
Recognizing your work. I love
So,
it.
thank you. So, recognizing your worth for me personally is something that I've been on a journey with for a very long time, for many different reasons. But I feel like we're always growing. There's always opportunity for growth, right? Personally, mentally, emotionally, just development. And recognizing your worth is so important, not just in your personal life, but in your work life, in everything that you do, recognizing your worth. Um, So Jackie, give me a little something, something. How you feel about recognizing your worth, or what is your experience with your worth?
I feel the same. It's something that I've had to, work on, and it's also kind of goes hand in hand with being kind to yourself. That's something that I've worked on a lot lately. But knowing that you are worthy, and then kind of shutting down those voices or those people that you know try to put you down when you say, oh, I want to do this, or I want to do that, or I'm thinking about doing this. And instead of encouragement, they did discourage. They say, oh, really, can you do that? And
Mm-hmm.
you have to remind yourself that you are worthy and capable of doing things. And that's pretty much what it is for me, believing in myself and reminding myself that I can do it. And that you have to believe in yourself, more sometimes than others,
Mm-hmm.
but definitely knowing your worth, it goes hand in hand with also not negative self talking to yourself as well.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I feel like when you recognize your worth, that can be the first step to a lot of growth, personal growth, right? So once you recognize your worth, I feel like you'll get like this confidence boost, which is something that I've kind of experienced. Like, okay, I know what I bring to the table. I'm gonna put it on the table,
Mm-hmm.
and other people, the hardest part is not allowing other people's opinions or whether they recognize your worth or not affect whether you recognize it, right? Because just because
Mm-hmm.
everybody else don't see it or other people don't see it doesn't mean it's not there.
Yeah.
And of course, rejection is part of life, right? So just because you get rejected doesn't necessarily mean you're not worth it or you're worthy. It just might not be your time.
Yeah.
So confidence is another result of recognizing your worth. I feel like stepping out on faith is another, result of recognizing your worth. You get more confidence to step out and do things that you probably never would have thought you've been able to do. And your circle will also start to change, right? Like you'll start to be around people that also recognize their worth or kind of compliment your worth.
Mm-hmm.
So it seems like, at least from my experience, recognizing my worth and really being proud and resting in it is life changing.
Yes.
And I love that. I love that so much.
No, it definitely can be. And yes, I agree with you 1,000% that you start seeing your friends, your circles change, it gets smaller. And that's okay, and and it might hurt. It could hurt because it's kind of like a breakup sometimes,
Oh
especially if those
yeah.
friends have been friends, you've been friends with them for a while. um but everything happens for a reason. Um and there, some friends are for a season, and that's okay, and that's something that my mom would always tell me, you
Hmm.
know so, but yeah, self-confidence definitely does have a lot to do with it. And um I know, like, it reminds me of when I interviewed for this one position and I thought I had it in the bag and everything, and then I get, the email that I wasn't chosen. And then I was like, dang, I'm like, I thought I had that. And it kind of did, kind of took a little bit of my self confidence away. I was like, well, I guess I'm not, able and capable to do more than I thought I am able to. So,
Right.
and I had to kind of, and with talking with friends, they're like, no, it's okay. So if it was for you, it would have been meant for you, and it wasn't. And that's okay. It's their loss, and it's more than likely your gain. So it it takes a lot of, talking to those people that really do support you as well, to help you through those moments where you start doubting yourself, your ability.
That's good. Very true, Jackie. Come on with it, baby. So we have a viewer that said, "Take us back to our younger selves." And is this something that our parents taught us or that we learned ourselves? So for me personally, my mom talked to me a lot about valuing myself, in terms of like my standards and the way I carry myself and the decisions that I make and things like that. But I don't too much remember a lot about, uh, I guess, recognizing my worth in terms of like other people not seeing it, I guess, if that
Hmm.
makes sense. Like she told me I was worthy of a lot of things, but not in the same way that I feel like I've learned growing up. And it could have just been my personality as a child. And of
Yeah.
course, like we always talk about being non-white and growing up in lower SES communities or whatever the case may be. You take so much based on like your race and the way you look and different things like that. Um, so I think that was a major part of why it took so long for me to recognize my worth. And
Hmm.
plus, growing up, I always heard you got to work 10 times harder. You got to work way harder than your white counterparts. You got to work harder than them because this, and that. So it always, like, in the back of my head, I kind of was just like, they're here, I'm here, just growing up in America. So yeah, I think for me, it's something more that I've grown to learn. Um, Really, the closer that I've gotten to 40. And I've
Hmm.
struggled a lot in the workplace with it. Sure. That's probably where I've struggled the most, is in the workplace with,
But having to
recognizing
prove
my worth,
yourself, right?
because I'm not gonna just take a job. Yeah, like I don't feel like I have to prove myself anymore. If
Yeah.
I'm not gonna work twice as hard. I'm not gonna do
Hmm.
that. If you don't see it, you just don't see it. I'm gonna go somewhere where they do. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So I just don't.
Yeah.
I'm more comfortable in being myself in the workplace. I'm more comfortable with what I offer in the workplace. Like you said, I'm not proving myself to nobody. I'm gonna go where I'm welcomed, where I'm recognized, and that's it. I'm not just gonna take a job because the money's better or because it's gonna
Hmm.
give me more experience or anything like that. I'm gonna go where I am valued.
Yes. And it aligns with
So
your values and what you find
right.
most important. So, and for me
Hmm.
growing up, I think my mom talked a lot to me about my worth. You're worthy, you're capable, you're able to do things. Whatever you put your mind on, you can do it, and I'm here to guide you. So growing up, she really was a person to always guide me and steer me and give me those words of encouragement. My mom was young. My mom and myself, we were 15 years apart. She had me when she was 15 years old. So we grew up with each other.
Hmm.
So having her, give that guidance, because she was kind of learning still herself, you know.
Right.
She grew up, she was growing up while trying to raise, kids and have a
Right.
family and everything. So she really did press that on me a lot. My dad as well, but I would say more my mom, because she was a young mom and she always had those doubts, people looking down on her, like, how could you,
Hmm.
be a good mom being so young. But my mom was
Hmm.
great. I was the first one in my family to actually graduate high school and go to college. So she really was my rock, there for me to steer me and give me that encouragement that I constantly consistently needed. And I think that helped me a lot.
Yeah, and I'm glad that you said that. And I think it's important to point out that our parents obviously do the best that they can, right? But when you have like your parents at home telling you one thing, and then you have the world telling you something else, especially
Mhm.
as being women, non-white women, the world is going to be a little bit heavier, because it's like, my mom's supposed to say that this is my mom, this is one person, or maybe my mom and my dad, or my family, whatever, versus society, like an entire
Yep.
culture of people. So
Yes.
I think that, I don't want to say childhood trauma, but that was one of my biggest struggles. Do you think we need more of that with our teens now? Are we lacking in the areas as parents? Um,
I don't.
that's a good question.
I think maybe it depends too on the family dynamics, as far as how old are the parents and how old are the teens. Because if you have someone who's like way older, like in their 40s and 50s, their perspective, the way they grow up was very different, right? And our teens nowadays, and even the kids, the alpha generation, they are very vocal and will tell you, what it is that they want, or will ask you a gazillion questions, and it's just because they want to know. And I think also growing up with technology, um, they know a lot more than I think we ever did at that age. Um,
And
so
they also have access to a lot more stuff than what we do.
yes, and they have a lot more access to things as well. So I think that it parents have to learn, and this is every parent regardless of age, they have to learn to really com- communicate with your teens in a way where you're not coming at them um, aggressively, um, because they are teens and they're gonna shut you out if you come at them a certain way. So you have to come open with the open mind, really, um, and be ready for whatever it is that they're gonna tell you, and expect, be ready for whatever that they're gonna say to you. But it really comes down to communication with them, and not being judgmental, having an open mind set when speaking with them, um, and kind of reflecting, when you grow up, where did you have that communication with your parents? And if you didn't, and you want it with your kids, then don't do what your parents did. You know, find another way.
I agree with you, Jackie. That was a really good viewpoint on it. I also think like when I think about, like you said, with me and my parents, I think kind of educating your kids on like society and why things are the way they are, and like the unfairness, I guess you could say,
Mm-hmm.
of the world and its thinking, to kind of take away some of the value that it has on them, right? And then also kind of like to what you said, understanding their temperament, like
Yeah.
understanding how your child likes to be approached, understanding their communication style, understanding yourself as well, and how you might respond to certain things, under certain circumstances, how you respond to your child when they don't tell you what you want to hear, or if they're not as
Mm-hmm.
receptive, just to ensure that you're not blocking off the communication or causing your child to just be like, okay, whatever. She's
Yeah.
mad or he's mad. They don't want to hear nothing I'm saying. Um, so yeah, but at the end of the day, like we saying, internet and all this stuff that the kids have access to, you can only do the best that you can do, and
Mm-hmm.
it is very scary. You can just do what you can do and hope for the best.
Yeah.
And that's one reason why I'm afraid to be a parent, right? Because the world is crazy. They have all these things going on. It's only getting worse. Everybody's sick. You got all these sick. Like it's just like I know that I won't be able to have as much control and protection over my kids that I would want to have, and that scares me.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
So,
it's a lot. The world is just, it's like it just seems to get scarier. Um, and I think, like, with the backpacks, like with Dallas ISD, my kids go to Dallas ISD and they have to have clear backpacks and mesh backpacks. And why is that? They're in elementary school. Um, and why is that? And that's because of safety, because there was a school, it was at Fort Worth ISD, I don't know what school, somewhere, where a fifth grader showed up to school with a gun in a clear backpack, and you could
I heard
obviously
that.
see it.
Hmm.
So it's very scary. It's crazy. I know for me, I have like a lot of anxiety now, more than I used to, with taking my kids to school, because
Oh,
there's
of
just
course.
so much more school shootings than there ever was before.
Hmm.
Um, and it's just insane to me, like, school should be the safest place for your kids. You're entrusting them, to
Hmm.
have your kids, to teach them while you're at work or what have you. So it is a very scary thing now. So I can understand why a lot of people now are like, well, maybe it's just not, I won't have kids. I think this just ain't the world to be having kids anymore. And
Yeah.
that's okay. And you do have a lot more, like especially like the millennials, like that age, like, no, I'm not having kids. And my sister-in-law, she says it. And I told my mother-in-law, I'm like, I believe her. I'm like, I believe that she won't have any kids. And that's
Hmm.
okay. She's like, well, she could have one. I'm like, you can't force, your kids to have kids. If she's telling you she don't want to have a kid, then she doesn't want to have a kid, then that's okay. So I think that we have to kind of accept that, as well, as parents, or um, parents with millennial age kids, are thinking that you should have kids at a certain age. It's okay. Don't pressure it, them. And it, they're growing up still too.
That's a good question. How do you prepare your kids, Jackie, for the what ifs and things that may happen at school?
Well, I know when, was it last, it wasn't this past school year, it's the school year before, right before the school year was about to end. Um, then there was a shooting. I can't remember where. And my kids were asking, what happened. And I had a conversation with them. There was, these things happen, bad people, or people who are sick, and they're just sick mentally in their head. And they just do that, and they're like, but it's not okay. I'm like, I know, that's not okay. But if that were ever to happen at your school, you listen to what your teacher is telling you to do. You're quiet, you go and hide wherever it is that they're telling you to hide, and just follow instructions. And every now and then, they'll remember and they'll ask me, and I'll tell them again, to listen, so they
Hmm.
know, to listen and follow instructions if anything ever bad is going on in school, like that situation, an emergency like that. I haven't talked to them about it lately. I do need to, continuously just do that throughout the school year, so that they know, and they're aware. They're so small that I don't think they really fully comprehend it, but they know, and they're like, that's not okay. That's bad. Like, those are kids and they died. So they kind of understand, but not fully. But and I just really hope and pray that that doesn't ever happen.
Oh, child, that's just so intense just to think about it. And I don't even have children, and just how mentally taxing it can not only be for the parents but for the children as well. Like, imagine going to school afraid every day, or you see these things happening, like, oh, such and such school got shot up last week, this school got shot up 6 months ago, and you have to go to school, and you're
Mhm.
wondering, like, what if I go in here and I don't leave?
Yeah.
Like, that's gotta be extremely difficult for children to have to come to terms with, and they go to school 5 days a week.
Yep.
From
That's
what
where
is it, August to May, maybe June,
yeah, and that's where they spend the majority of their time,
and and
majority
and,
of their hours. Yeah, and
oof.
definitely there are videos that we can, as parents, be showing our kids, to prepare them for that.
I remember I saw a video. The last shooting that I saw just broke my heart, but I feel like the police who showed up really did a good job of handling the situation. But it was a woman. I think she might have been a transgender woman or maybe a transgender man. Either way, the person was transgender, and they went into, I think it was a Catholic school,
Mm-hmm.
and that they used to go to, and shot up the school when it was like a bunch of kindergarten kids.
Oh man.
And that blew my mind. And like when they interviewed like the neighbors and the parents and all those things, and everyone was like, well, we had no idea that this person was even capable of this. Like, I'm completely shocked. It seemed like, a regular, everyday, undisturbed person, not angry. We didn't realize, might have been bullied at the school at a younger age, or that the faculty, whatever and that makes it even more scarier, because it's like sometimes you don't even see the warning signs in people. It just
Yep.
happened. But enough of that, Jackie. Before we end, I wanted to ask you, okay? So I went and got my
Yep.
hair done today, right?
Mm-hmm.
While I was in the beauty salon, my stylist asked if um, us in the salon had saw a video of a woman who went to a birthday party. I think it might have been
Mm-hmm.
like very young child birthday party, under the age of like 8. Thank you. I'm trying to do better by it. But anyway, yes. So the mother of the child attending the party, we're gonna call her Sarah. Text the mother of the birthday child, we're gonna call her Lee. So Sarah
Mm-hmm.
texts Lee and asks Lee, hey, what are you serving at the birthday party in terms of food? Because my child is a picky eater or doesn't eat certain things. And I just want to
Mm-hmm.
make sure, that I'm prepared or whatnot. So apparently Lee told her she didn't know yet, right? So then Lee never told her what they were serving. Sarah shows up to the birthday party with her child, and they're serving food that her child doesn't eat. So she leaves and goes and gets her child McDonald's, as any parent would, and comes back. When she comes back, her child is crying, and it is said that her child cannot have cake and ice cream
Mm.
because they missed the birthday song when they went to go get McDonald's. So they couldn't have cake and ice cream. So then moving forward from that, Sarah is annoyed, and Lee even told her child, who told Sarah's child, that my mommy said that you can't have no cake and ice cream, type
But
of thing. So Sarah takes her child, her crying child,
mm-hmm.
leaves with the birthday presents that she bought. And apparently Sarah brought like 4 gifts to the birthday party, which was majority of the gifts that were there,
Mm.
um, and left. So Lee got upset that Sarah took her gifts back and left with her child. So it's this big debate about who was wrong, who wasn't wrong, all these different things. And I just wanted to get your views. hope I got this correct. I think that's how
I
they.
I I don't understand the reason to not give the child cake and ice cream. I mean,
Yeah.
there are people that come, late to parties all the time and they still get fed and still get the cake and the ice cream, if there's still some left. So I really don't understand why to tell the child no cake and ice cream. I don't get it. Yeah, that mom is just messy and mean. That was wrong. I think that was completely wrong. Now, me personally, I would have not taken the gifts. I would have been like, okay, you're being spiteful, but I'm not going to be spiteful. I'm going to be the bigger person and, just leave. I wouldn't have taken the gifts. Me personally, I don't think I would have done
Okay.
that. But I really do think that she was wrong not giving the child the cake and ice cream and then telling the child that the mom said to not give it to them too. That's just wrong.
I just couldn't get past telling a child, as a grown ass woman, telling
Hmm.
a child that they can't have cake and ice cream. I personally feel like Lee had something against already Sarah and her child. Like
Probably.
just the way that it sounded, like
That's what it
there
seems
had
like.
to have been something else going on in that
Hmm.
situation. Because then it was said that apparently Lee knew what the food was going to be a week before the party and still never told Sarah. So it's just like I literally went out of my way to ensure that my child was prepared for this party and reached out to you and you didn't follow through. Now you're telling my child that they can't have cake and ice cream because we went to McDonald's and missed the
Yeah.
birthday song. Like there was something deeper going on. So then there was like screenshots of them going back and forth, and Sarah took the gifts back and got her money and all that. And I don't feel like Sarah was wrong. It depends on how mad I would have been in the situation if I would have took my gifts back. But also, how are you mad because I took my gifts back? You need to be mad at all these other people that didn't bring you no gifts. Because why was my
Hmm.
gifts, the 4 gifts I got, most of the gifts that your child got?
Yeah.
Like you got your energy in the wrong place. But just
Mhm.
telling a child that they can't have cake and ice cream, you a special type of evil, and I hope she listening.
Yeah. That's
Evil.
completely wrong. That is so wrong on so many
That is,
levels.
but I just
That's
wanted to touch on that. I don't know how
Mhm.
much time we got left.
Yeah, we got like about 2 minutes or 1 minute almost. But
Okay.
we want to remind everyone that we are wanting guests on our show. So please do email us or message us on our Facebook page. Our email is down there, info at on the and there's a dash table.com. And then our Facebook is put it all on the table, period, between each word. So do reach out to us. We definitely would
Please
like to,
do.
have guests on here, and or if you don't want to be a guest and you just want to, for us to touch on a topic, have or ask us questions on something and have a conversation about that, we welcome those as well.
Yes, we do. Thank y'all
Yes,
for joining us today.
yes. Thank
A
you,
little
everyone.
more relaxed topic today, but I just want to
Yes.
make sure all of y'all understand. Please recognize your worth. Don't let nobody
Mm-hmm.
tell you you ain't worth what you know you worth. Do the inner work, the groundwork, whatever you got to do. Go to therapy, work through your traumas, work through whatever life throws at you, and pour into yourself. That'll be the best thing you will ever do, especially if you are a caring and giving person like Jackie
Yes.
and I. You can't pour into other people and do for other people without pouring into yourself first.
Yes. Definitely.
And put it all
Okay.
on the table.
Yes, yes. And we'll see y'all on next Monday at 8 o'clock. And hope y'all have a good night.
Peace.